I recently went skiing in Aspen, Colorado, snow mass at -9. I took some fragrances with me on that trip to see which ones would perform the best and how they would hold up. We have a Tom Ford, we have a XERJOFF, we have a Creed, and we have one Dolce & Gabbana as a surprise. Stay tuned to find out how they did
in -9.
Hey everyone, I'm Peter from Central. On this channel, I talk about fragrances, designer, niche, perfumers, so on and so forth. So if you're into fragrances or you just want to smell great, consider leaving a like, share, love, subscribe, all those wonderful things right here in the bottom. You can do that at any point throughout the video. I do appreciate it and it does help the algorithm. Now, I don't want to hold you up too much longer. Let's get right into our fragrances. I want to welcome you and let's go. Now, of course, these are not the best fragrances you can take to go skiing. These are just some fragrances that I took that I think I would probably enjoy in the really cold weather. The first one we're going to go over is a Tom Ford, and it is going to be Oud Wood. Now, Oud Wood came out in 2007, comes in a nifty little box like that, and it is a really deep and woody oud fragrance. Now, I thought this one would last pretty good, just because it is a Tom Ford and usually the Tom Fords do pretty well. And let's give this one a spray to kind of see how it did and what it smells like. The fragrance itself is going to be a woody fragrance. It has a good amount of oud in it. There's also going to be a little bit of a spice to this one. Now, I wore this and it did carry quite well in the cold. Unfortunately, it didn't project quite as much as I would like to. I didn't get any compliments while I wore it. I did smell it in the evenings, coming home, coming into a warm place. Even after a day of skiing, I still smelled it, on the clothes. I did spray a couple on the outside, 2 on the inside, so it would kind of retain as I take my clothes off. In the wintertime, when I go out, when I wear fragrances, I kind of spray on the inside as well as on the outside. So when I take my coats off or whatever, there's more fragrance that is, going to radiate off of my body. Because I do like to smell great no matter where I go and whatever I do. So Tom Ford, on the level from 1 to 10, if I had to give them a ranking, it did pretty well. It's probably the second best out of the ones that I have here. Tom Ford Oud Wood. It's a beautiful aromatic, it's a sweet, woody oud fragrance. Really, really beautiful. Now it's a little bit more on the expensive side, but all the Tom Fords are. But if you like the scent of oud, then this one is a really good one. I kind of find that the ones that I took here, most of them have a little bit of oud in it. And oud fragrances, to me, just tend to really work really well when it's cold outside. Tom Ford Oud, and I would give this one about a 7. Actually, last year, when I went skiing, I took Tom Ford and I took Tobacco Vanille. Tobacco Vanille is going to be a little bit of a vanilla, a sweet tobacco, warm and spicy. Performed just a little bit better and it radiated, or the projection was greater than the Oud Wood. This one sat a little bit closer in. So Tobacco Vanille from last year actually did better than the Oud Wood did this year. So the next one we're going to look at is going to be one from Creed. And of course, it's Royal Oud. I thought that Royal Oud, for a dinner party in the evening or something like that, should be a really good fragrance for the cold. This is a newer batch. Now, it did not come in a cellophane or it didn't come wrapped. I understand that the new ones come wrapped. So this is, I think, 2017 or 2018, somewhere around there. So it's not super, super new, but it's also not very old. Royal Oud, I have to say, it was okay. I really liked it for close encounters, but in the really cold outside, you could barely detect it. It really didn't. It's got a great sprayer on it. All the Creeds really do. And this is going to be a powdery, musky fragrance from Creed, also quite pricey. I think this is one of their most pricey ones that you can get, like $415 US or something like that for 100 ml. Now, I just recently acquired a new bottle. I took the newest one that I have to kind of see how it does. Like I said, this is a 2017-18, somewhere around there. And it's a woody, powdery oud. It's really super elegant smelling. It's not going to be, it's something that you could wear at a dinner party. Really super easy. It's beautiful, something that is not going to offend anyone. The oud is really delicate in this one. It's a classy fragrance. It's one of my favorites out of the Creed lineup. Now, I do have quite a few favorites from Creed, and the Oud Wood did perform okay, but not nearly as good as the Tom Ford did. This one did probably about a 5. Okay, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't good either. So if you're going to be indoors where it's a little bit cooler, then this one is going to be fine. But outside, don't expect anybody to smell it because it just did not carry in the really cold weather. So this is about a 5. You can wear it, but more in the inside parties if it's cooler. Now the next one, before I get to the best one out of these that I took, it's going to be one that I just purchased in 2021, and it's a Dolce & Gabbana. And the one that I'm talking about is going to be Dolce & Gabbana, and it is One Luminous Night. Now, there are some other ones out there. This is the newest release from 2021. I really wanted to get my hands on it. It's got a beautiful, like, blue bottle. It's really gorgeous. Now, there's also Royal Night out there and a Mysterious Night. I don't have those two. I just ordered them. So when I get them, I'm going to do a comparison of all of these exclusive ones. Now, I was interested in this one as the newest release, and I kind of wanted to see where did the one go from its original release. Now, I looked online a little bit to see what people say about this one. This is ambery, sweet, warm, woody, and it smells a lot like the one. You can definitely tell it's still there. But the luminous part is what really got me interested in this one, and it's lighter than the original. Now online, a lot of people say that it smells a little bit like Salvatore Ferragamo's Uomo signature, this one right here. And if I compared Salvatore Ferragamo, which I have on this sprayer right here, if I compared the two fragrances, the Salvatore Ferragamo is going to be brighter. Now, do they kind of smell alike? Not really, but they're sort of in the same sort of weight maybe. Or are they similar? Yes and no. Is it the same fragrance? No, it's not. This one is a great fragrance, by the way. It really holds up too and has great longevity and all that sort of stuff. But the Luminous Night one it doesn't have the freshness that accompanies the Salvatore Ferragamo. In this one, in the Luminous Night, you're going to have some dates. You're going to have some sage. There's a little bit of black pepper. There's a little bit of basil in here, and also some bergamot. So right from the get-go, you have a little bit of a peppery feeling in the basil. It's not too light or too bright, and the dates really kind of make it a little bit heavier. There's some incense in this one as it dries down, sandalwood and amber in the base. So it's a little bit of I would say, a lighter the one, not quite as dense. Now in the cold, I was really hoping that it would hold up a little bit. Of course, the luminous, part kind of gave me an idea that it's probably not going to be too heavy, and it was true. I put this one on, it became a skin scent pretty close at -9. I smelled it in the morning, it was kind of strong, and then it just kind of really faded away pretty quickly. Is it a good scent? I really do enjoy the scent. However, in the cold, it didn't perform as well. It performed actually, at least on me, a little bit worse than the Creed Royal Oud did. The Creed Royal Oud, maybe because of its uniqueness, just kind of stuck around a little bit longer for me than the Luminous Night. So I'm hoping that I get a little bit of better longevity out of the Royal Night and the Mysterious Night once I get them. But I think this one is going to be a pretty good scent for the evenings in the summer. As far as the winter is concerned, this one didn't really hold up. So I'm going to give this one a 4. Where, the Creed got a 5 and the Tom Ford, so far, Oud Wood got a 7. Do I think it's worth it? If you have some other the ones already, perhaps not. But if you collect, I definitely think you should get a bottle. It's quite interesting and, a good fragrance. So the next one and the last one that I took with me really, from the get-go, outperformed all of these by a long shot. I mean, I smelled this next one. I smelled the day after when I picked up my clothes. It was still there. Amazing. And the one that I'm talking about, the last one that outperformed all of these, is going to be a XERJOFF fragrance. Now this one came out a while ago in 2012, so it's been out a while. Now they're pretty expensive. And the one I'm talking about is Alexandria 2. It's this one right here. I unpacked it already. I'm probably going to do a separate video. I'm not going to go too deep into this one right now and show you how this one is packaged. It's quite pricey, but the performance is absolutely stellar. And this one, I mean, it's a 10 As far as performance in the cold, it lasts 2 days at -9, no problem. And my wife kept saying, oh my God, you smell good, even throughout the day. She just really enjoys this one. Now, what Alexandria 2 has from 2012, it's going to have some lavender at the top, a little bit of palisander rosewood. There's also going to be some cinnamon, so it's a little bit spicy. It does have some oud in this fragrance as it dries down. And this one, the Alexandria 2, I mean, right from the get-go, you gotta let it settle in a little bit. Most of their fragrances are quite strong when you first spray them. It definitely outperformed the Oud Wood. You have a little bit of rose in there. Now this is a mature fragrance, just like the Royal Oud, I would say. It's not something for a younger person unless you're really well dressed and you can pull that stuff off. But I wore this one outside playing with the dog. I had a really great time. All day long I could smell it skiing. Taking my jacket off, I could smell this one. This one was just everywhere all day long, even at -9. It's a great performer. This is Alexandria 2 from 2012. It's been out a while. Some rose, so got a little bit of lily of the valley in there as it dries down. And of course, like I said, most of these that I brought had some oud in it, except for the Dolce & Gabbana. That one didn't, the Luminous Night. But I think oud really usually carries pretty well in the cold. It may be just a little bit too cloying for people in the summertime or when it's warm. So Alexandria 2 was a great choice. It's the clear winner. It's a warm and spicy fragrance, really elegantly put together. Great fragrance from 2012. It's a little bit more expensive, but 100 ml should last you a long time because you can just do, 2 sprays and you're good to go on a regular day. Now, what I did mostly, like I said at the beginning, is I did 1, 2 on the inside and I do 1, 2 on the outside of the jacket. So it really would last. I did not spray it on the skin because I had too many layers of clothes on. You know how it is when you're out there skiing. But those are the ones I brought. The clear winner is Alexandria. The second one is going to be the Tom Ford, the Oud Wood. And then it's going to be Creed, Royal Oud is going to be in third place. And the one that performed least, unfortunately, was the Luminous Night by Dolce & Gabbana. Here you have it. My fragrances that I wore while I was skiing in Aspen at Snowmass just a few days ago. I hope you enjoyed it. If you got anything out of this at all, if I helped you in any kind of way, don't forget to love, like, share, all those wonderful things that help me help the algorithm know who we are so we can all smell better. I want to thank you in advance. Until next time, I want you to take good care of yourself. Always smell nice, and I will talk to you soon. Until then, Centrail.